So before we can start the practicing with the adjectives, I would like to see if you could name me some places where you might find in a city. So for example, you might find a restaurant, right? A restaurant.
Yeah.
You might find a restaurant. Have we played this game yet where you name places?
No.
Okay, so I want you to name me as many places as you can that you might find in a city.
Restaurants, hotels, playgrounds, apartments, offices.
Wait, playground, hotel, offices. Did I miss one out? Restaurant, hotel, playground, offices.
And police station.
Right.
Hospital, fire station. And apartments. Toilets. Oh yeah, and shops, market. Yeah, many shops.
Okay, this is good. What if you want to send a letter? Where could you go if you want to send a letter?
A post office.
Yeah. What if you need money?
A bank.
What if you want to exercise?
A gym.
Somewhere else you might exercise. Somewhere if you want to go outside.
Outside, field.
Somewhere nicer than a field that you might exercise. You can walk around, there's trees, it looks beautiful.
A park.
Okay. What if you want to swim?
A swimming pool.
Good. Okay, so we've got lots of places. I think that'll do. That's enough places for now. So the idea is that, can you see my screen right now? You can't see my screen, can you? Let me just show you. Hold on. Okay, so you can see all of these places, right? So
yes.
These are the places that you said. I am going to choose 3 places, and then I'm going to write it down, the 3 places. And I want you to create 3 sentences for me that include 2 adjectives and including the place. Okay? So let's try. Okay, first place is post office. So I'll write that down, post office. Good. Next one. Dun, 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 dun. Playground. Playground. Okay. Okay. Gym. Okay, so we've got 3 places. So I want you to make a sentence that uses 2 adjectives. Now, you know what an adjective is, of course, and I'm sure it's very easy. I want to make this a little bit harder. I want to make this 4 adjectives. I think you're actually a little bit more advanced, William. So I think you can use 4 adjectives for this one. This is a good starting place. I would use 2 for a younger person. I think we could start with 4 adjectives for you. And let's also include a modal verb. Now, are you aware of what modal verbs are?
Yes.
Okay, great. So please include 4 adjectives and modal verb. So let me know when you're done and I'll listen to what you've got.
Oh, wait.
Okay, William, how are we doing?
Not yet.
Okay.
I looked around at. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait, you're going to tell me. Okay, so let me just write these down then. Okay, I looked around at. Oh, it's too small. I looked. Yeah.
I looked around in the spacious, complex, noisy, and smelly.
I looked around in the spacious. What did you say?
Complex.
Complex. Yeah. Which was.
Which was noisy and smelly.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, is that your first sentence?
I looked around in the post office. In the spacious, complex post office.
That's better. Yeah, okay, it's using the word post office. Good. I don't know if we need the word complex though. Spacious, complex, spacious post office complex. I guess you could say, which was noisy and smelly. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll take that. That works. That's good. Yeah, number 2. It's number 2, William. You got it?
No.
Okay. Okay, William, what's number 2?
I turned up at the I turned up.
What?
I turned up.
I turned up. Turned up
Yes.
at the
At the enjoyable, fun, fancy, and gorgeous playground.
fun, fancy, and gorgeous playground. That's a funny way to call a playground. Okay. I noticed you haven't used a modal verb yet, though.
Turn up.
Turned up. Okay. Is that right? It is a verb. I'm not sure it's a modal verb, right? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Let me double check that. Can, might, stay, would, could, should. Yeah, turned up is the verb. Okay, but let me just show you modal verbs in case we're not 100% clear here. Watch this video about modal verbs. Modal verbs. Just a short one. We just need this.
Hello, grammarians! Today we're going to talk about a class of auxiliary or helper verbs called the modal verbs. These are verbs that have special properties and help other verbs. But what is modality? My fellow grammarian, I am so glad you asked. Modality is when we use these verbs to express conditions on stuff. So we can use these verbs to determine if something is likely to happen or certain to have happened, whether or not something is possible or whether or not we have the ability to do something, whether or not we have the permission to do something, and whether or not we have the obligation or requirement or need to do something. You already know all of these verbs, I promise you. You just didn't know this name for them. Let's meet the modals. Roll call, here we go. May, might, must, can, could, shall, should, will, would. Those are the modals. So here's what modal verbs can do. Thing number 1, they agree with everything. So you can take any one of these modals and you can use any subject in the world and it's not going to change, right? You take a word like talk, for instance, and you'd say, I talk, Diane talks. Right, you add the S. But any subject in any sentence is going to take the modal verb the same way. Let me show you. I can do it, you can do it, she can do it, they can do it, we can do it. It's all the same. They agree with everything. Something else that modals do is actually something that they don't do. They don't have a to form. This is what we call the infinitive. So there's no such thing as to may or to could. That just doesn't exist. So modals don't have infinitives. You can't say, I want to should. It doesn't. That is an illegal operation in English. It is ungrammatical. It doesn't matter what version of English you speak. Across all varieties of English, you cannot to should. And finally, a thing that modal verbs can do is indicate modality, which, like we said, establishes conditions. So let's take a look at some examples. So the word must, right? We can use the word must in a couple of different ways. So if you imagine a detective looking up from some tracks, some muddy boot prints on the floor with her magnifying glass, she looks up and she says, "He must have gone that way." That detective is using must to express like a likelihood, a high likelihood. This must have happened. But if you're at an amusement park and the roller coaster you want to ride has a height requirement, the sign probably says, "You must be this tall to ride the Doom coaster." This is like a necessary condition. By a similar token, if you enter someone's house and they demand that you take off your shoes, they would say, "You must remove your shoes." Similarly, with may, we can use may to express a possibility, like saying it may rain, that's something that could possibly happen, or to give someone permission, like you may enter. You can use a word like can to express ability. You could say, I can eat 10 pounds of broccoli, and that's expressing your ability to do a thing. We also use modal verbs like this to talk about conditions or stuff that isn't going to happen or maybe could happen. And so, for example, in this sentence we would say, I would make the bed, but I'm tired. Because the possibility exists, however remote, that the bed would be made by me, but I don't feel like it. So I'm using would to offer an excuse. I'm saying this could possibly happen, this would happen, except for this one other problem, which is that I'm sleepy. You can also use modal verbs to give advice to someone, as in, you shouldn't do that. And something that is special to will, and to a lesser extent shall, is that they can form the future. Shall used to be a lot more popular, and it still is in British English, but less so in Standard American. So you would say, he will win the competition, or he shall win the competition. And use of this modal verb, will or shall, indicates that that thing that you're talking about is happening in the future. These verbs are very powerful. You should learn how to use them, and in fact, if you can complete the exercises, then you will master these tricky verbs. You can learn anything. David out.
Okay. And so you see, it's all about ability, possibility, that kind of stuff. So rather than just being a normal verb, modal verbs, this is a normal verb turned up, but modal verbs talk about those three things that they talked about: ability, possibility, and a command kind of thing. So I want you to rethink here the three that you've got. But instead of just you do playground and post office, let's try a new one. And this time, let's see if you can use a modal verb somehow. Oh, it's gonna be park. All right, great. So let's try and this time use 4 adjectives and a modal verb. So this time I want to see you using a modal verb using the word park. 4 adjectives. In fact, let's just keep it to 3. I think 3 is fine. You make it sound very nice with 3, I think. And then just 1 modal verb. Okay. And I'll just keep a quick see if I can keep a modal verb up here for you. So these are all examples of modal verbs. Okay.
I will never go to the nasty, unpleasant, ordinary park.
Good. Say that again for me.
I will never go to the nasty, unpleasant, ordinary park.
I will never go to the nasty, unpleasant part. Great, 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 great. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna let you draw your park into your city. So by the way, this is your city grid. You see you got residential zone where houses would go, a commerce zone where we might buy things or we might go to have fun. It can also be about fun. Industrial zone where you might want to build things. And by the way, that's one of the words that we could have put in here as well, which is a factory. Now, you might not get that directly in the city, but it might be on somewhere on the outskirts of the city. And then free zone. Free zone is really a place where if one of the places we'll be building doesn't fit, you can just try and put it into the free zone. It might be better. Okay, so I'll leave you with free zone. Okay, so we've got park. And where would you put a park? In the residential zone, the commerce zone, the industrial zone? Or the free zone? Where would you put it? Where would you like to build your park? Where's a good idea to build a park?
I think it's free zone.
You think the free zone? Okay, sure. Okay. Why did you put it in the free zone?
Because it's a park, residential. I think.
Yeah, I feel like it would be more residential, wouldn't it? Don't you think? People would want to. But the thing is, if it depends on the size of the park, maybe. For example, if it's a big public park that's well known in the city, it might well be in the free zone. If it's a big park, many people would know about it. It's going to be a popular park. I feel like that would be in the free zone, right? But
Yeah.
if it's a small park, maybe it's like a family park sort of thing you might find near your houses to do exercise. It could be a local park. So yeah, it can really be both. I think it depends on the size of the park and where you'd like to put it. Okay, so let's try another one again. By the way, good use of a modal verb there. So I'm going to try again, this time using a different modal verb. So let's not use will. We've taken will out. In fact, what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this and I'll tick off the ones that you used. So you can just copy it there, right? Okay, good. Okay, so I'll keep that up. Maybe I'll keep that. Where can we put that? Let me think here. Maybe I can leave it there. I'll just leave it small. I'll leave it in the commerce zone. Or maybe I'll leave it here. You can tick it off. Okay, so you used will. It's fine. That one's gone. Will. Okay, so try again. And this time, what did we get? We got hotel. Okay, so try again, hotel this time. So use a new modal verb, three adjectives, and a modal verb, please. I'm using the word hotel.
We should live in the comfortable, cozy, and cheap hotel.
We should live. I wouldn't necessarily live in a cheap, cozy hotel. I might
Or,
stay.
stay.
Yeah, I would stay at one, but you can say live. If you're rich, some people do live at hotels, so I'm not sure. Okay, that makes sense. Good, that's a good one. Where are we going to put the hotel?
Residential.
Right. Okay. Let me try something else for a while. So I just want to see how you are at reading. Let's see your reading ability. Let's do something about. Okay, these are easy words. I want something a little bit more difficult. Maybe not. I know. Let me try the hardest Lexile they have on here. Let's try the hardest one. Maybe that could work. $10.50 plus. Which one would you like?
Uh, 1,000. No, I think. I think I just saw 1,000 facts about the White House.
Ah. Whoa. Okay. Okay, I want you to read this. And as you read this, I want you to recognize any modal verbs you can see. How many modal verbs can you count? How many kinds of modal verb? Not how many actually, just how many kinds. You can also read it. I would read it first, and then I would go back and actually search for the modal verb.
Learning about the White House inevitably begins by asking two questions. Who lives there and why is it white? But for some, these questions may be just the beginning of a career devoted to studying, preserving, or teaching the history of the president's house and those who live there. As you will discover, the lively 1,000 fun facts presented so colorfully on the following pages are simply an introduction to the continually unfolding story of American history, centered in the most famous house in the nation, an icon of its history and an emblem of American democracy. As you learn about the first, last, only, most, least, biggest, and smallest features and events associated with this national treasure, at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Considering studying more about the topics that interest you most. There will always be new chapters to be written and more history to uncover. The White House Historical Association and publishers like National Geographic share a devotion to bringing history to life. We invite you to learn more from our books and online resources as you investigate subjects related to the White House. History such as the presidents and the first families, architecture, gardens, fine art, fashion, technology, and travel. I hope this introduction to the President House will inspire you to ask questions, pursue answers, and join us on a never-ending adventure in learning.
That's amazing. All right, dude. I actually want to see just 10 facts real quick. 10 fast facts. Home and office of the president. Yeah, we knew that one. John Adams was the second president, was the first to live in the White House. I did not know that. $20 bill. Okay. All right, dude. Listen, time is up, but next time maybe we can look through it a bit more. What's this one? Yeah. Old school tubs. Wow, when was it built exactly? So old. Oh. So big. It's a big amount of space. All right, William, we're done. Time's up. But next time we'll go through this, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.